Blog Talk Radio. Chatting with Nat is a podcast for independent women seeking to speak their truth and to break down barriers. We host honest conversations that help to guide and empower women. Speak your truth and set yourself free. Let your voice be heard. Hi everyone, it's Natalie Jean, Natalie Shaw, and we are on Chatting with Nat. And today I have the honor of having Ina. She's also known as Sabrina from the band KingQueen. When lightning strikes and is effectively bottled, it creates a special kind of magic that can cause the world to take notice. For KingQueen, such as the story behind their protest anthem, Burn This Motha, out December 9th, 2022. The five-piece Los Angeles LGBTQIA plus pop rock group wrote the single together, going on to perform it to thousands of people at San Francisco Pride just days after the U.S. Supreme Court took away the constitutional right to abortion. KingQueen knew that they had to record the track, placing it in the hands of producer Kevin McCombs, Papa Roach. Sabrina Petrini is the founding vocalist for the project, which with members Adam Gimenez on guitar, Brendan Valerino on keytar, Jake Absher on drums, and Ella G. Burgos on bass. The name KingQueen came from performing alongside drag queens, and while they call each other queens, the singer said she didn't feel like a king or queen. One of the drag queens responded, "No, you're a king queen," and it stuck. This song feels like an evolution for a singer, Sabrina says. It's very simple, straightforward, raw, and honest. No holding back. We love what we do, and we genuinely care about people in our community. KingQueen is all about identity and finding a place you can call home. We aren't a political band, but we're also not going to stay quiet when human rights are being taken away. This is about equal rights, trans rights, and being pro-choice. When award-winning filmmaker Rocco Shields, Love Is All You Need, came on board as a director and producer with her production company Genius Produced, KingQueen knew they really had tapped into something special. The group assembled a crew of supporters and shot a captivating music video that simultaneously captures the caring spirit of the band and the urgent message of the song. Rocco Shields was so amazing to work with. Member Brandon Valerino says she had a perfect balance of creative ideas and clear communication. She was truly invested in making the video. She told us she doesn't normally get to do creative projects like this, so it was a lot of fun for her too. Burn This Motha is the first single from the group's forthcoming EP due out early next year. Let's give Ina a round of applause. Hi, Ina. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I don't know, If you look at the world, I don't know. It's been, we chatted a while ago. And since we've chatted, the world has gone into more chaos.
Yeah.
It's baffling. So the question is, how have you been during, how do I put it? Okay, the George Floyd elections, pandemic, COVID had some babies, monkeypox, RSV, flu, assassinations, earthquakes, tsunamis, Brittany Griner comes back, we had cicadas, Roe versus Wade, marriage equality, you name it. It's just,
right.
It's been cray. So how have you been through all of that?
Well, so I'm a massive empath, and regardless if something impacts me or not, like I have to stay away from news, but I also want to keep myself informed. So it's just like speaking about Burn This Motha, it was very natural to record and write something with that shape and form, because it feels like every week there's something new and we're just getting almost like used to it. And
right.
I don't like that we're getting used to it. It's almost like these boundaries keep getting pushed, and you know, like people are suffering, and it's like, you know, like if one of those topics that you brought up happened 10 years ago, the reaction would have been so different than it is today.
Right.
Now it feels like everything's just happening rapidly.
Right.
So emotionally I have to like back off a little bit, but naturally it's hard to do that because I do want to stay informed. And I think like just, you know, performing and being on tour this summer was actually the best recipe for, you know, like a musician of like, what can I do, you know? And I think unity, I think unity is the most important thing on this planet and the biggest lesson to learn before you depart. So I think like just uniting with people through music. And, you know, we played in some places where, you know, like we're not as liberal as others, but interestingly, people actually took to us and our music, and it just showed me that maybe the world is not that bad, you know, that today, like, you know, like they do want to show us the worst so that we can like hate each other. And then, you know, like I had this conversation the other day because I was like, oh my God, the world is so crazy. And my fiance said, we're moving forward. And that's why it's crazy, because there's always going to be a pushback, and it always happens. And, you know, so I guess that's a positive, that we are moving forward. But the negative is that these extremists will come out and do anything they can to disrupt that. So I guess it's just part of, you know, what in the future will be our history.
Right. Now, obviously your song, I would call it a social impact song. There are a lot of artists that shy away from writing, and it may not even be political. You just want to let something out, but most tend to find, you know, writing songs that are political. Some people just believe that artists shouldn't do it, just because they think that, you know, they'll alienate their fans. Now, as a person that writes social impact songs, I could care less. If your fans know you, they know what you're about, they're going to love you no matter what you do, or they can just hit the door and not look back. You know, so how do you feel about when other artists say, oh, you shouldn't do that, you should stay away from that, you should separate it? My whole thing is that if you live in America, you're part of it. So I don't understand that whole thing about not singing songs or writing songs about those things.
Right. So it's interesting you bring this up, because we shot a music video for it, and we got a lot of friends and fans to come out and be part of one of the scenes that is a protest scene, basically. Okay. And when I reached out to certain people and invited them out, like some of them pushed back with, oh, I stay away from politics. And I was kind of like, it's fine. Like, you don't have to be part of the video. That's like, obviously, I'm not going to force you, you know. But when I hear the comment, I'm staying away from politics, I'm hearing that you don't care what happens to, you know, anybody but yourself, you know. And that's going back to, like, me personally, I'm an empath. Like, if something's going on with someone else in their community, it's not right. Like what's going on in Iran, I'm not Iranian, but I'm a woman, you know, and I can emphasize, like I can feel empathy with what's going on, you know. Like, so for me, when people say, oh, I stay away from, like, our world is no longer like, oh, you know, like, it's not, politics are not what they used to be. Like right now, we're like, you know, we're unfortunately talking about people's rights. We're not talking about economy. We're talking about people's rights. And, you know, if you just want to be blind and go through life like that, I mean, one day everybody's going to be impacted by something. So one day, whoever's, you know, like, staying away from having opinions or anything, like, it will bite you too. You know, one day it's going to come for you too. And you know what I mean? Like, because it's inevitable that it will happen. So I don't know, but going back to your point, I think again, like, I I'm at the point with music where, you know, I've done the whole, to stay in the industry, you have to sound like this, you have to look like this, okay? And I did that when I was younger,
right.
And not only didn't it work, but it didn't feel good. And you know, I don't write to be like, I don't write to be relevant. I write because I feel something.
Right.
So, you know, and our whole band, we're very connected on these topics. Like it wasn't like one person said, oh, okay, well, I don't know, I guess we can write the song. Everybody was part of it. So
right.
It's who we are. And even on stage, we will bring up like the Colorado shooting that happened the other week. We had a show the same day, and we had a minute of silence with the audience, and you know, we brought it up because we couldn't go on that stage and not talk about it. You know, like
right.
we need to talk about it. So, you know, it's the kind of band we are, and if somebody doesn't like that, then we don't need their screams either. You know.
Exactly. No, I agree with you 100%. That's why, for me, it's very important that when I listen to other artists, I have to see authenticity. You know, I just like to ask the person, you know, why is it that you do music? What are you looking for? Obviously, if somebody wants to do music for fame, that's on them. Good for them. That's their thing. Go for it. If you want to make a difference with your music, if you want to make a difference with your music, I think that's fantastic. Because that's basically what I'm trying to do. I do follow you on TikTok, so I was able to see your tour and everything that was going on there, which looked fantastic, by the way.
Thank you. Thank you.
And then, you know, and so one of the things on my TikTok that I did was I did that boat thing, and I'm in the boat, and I'm like looking for all the pro-lifers after all of these mass shootings. And these people come after me, but here's the irony with all this crap. Not one said, you know, that is really sad. We really need to do something. What did they talk about? They started talking about black babies, or we're trying to save the black babies. What are you talking about? People need to, you know, start informing. I mean, do your research. Do your research. Why there's these people on this abortion thing. I said, in one breath, you all say that black women or black people have babies just to stay on welfare, and then on the other breath, you're saying that they're aborting babies all the time. Which is it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think it's very important to be vocal on the topics that you want to be vocal about. Because you live in the country. You live in it. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, they're just very, very ignorant, and they don't, like, you know, like I hear, for example, like Fox News will call us woke, right?
Right.
And I personally think that's a compliment. I don't see anything wrong with it. So like, I don't understand. They sound really stupid when they're like, oh, the woke left. I'm like, yes, I'm enlightened. Like, what is that's supposed to be an insult that I care, that I'm wide awake, that I'm like caring about other people, you know? But, you know, like, it's another thing, like now with the shooting, right? Like with the Colorado shooting, they're basically saying that this is going to keep happening, and that, you know, that it's basically their fault for who they are, from being in the LGBTQ plus community. And I'm just like, how is that even legal to say on national news? How is that not hate speech? How, like, that channel has gone out of control, like, especially with people like Tucker Carlson. Like, it's scary.
I mean, I don't listen. When I hear some of the stuff that comes out of Tucker Carlson's mouth, I often wonder if he's even thinking about what he's saying, because it seems like they don't understand that this is the legacy that they're leaving for the rest of their generation. When people are going to look at Tucker Carlson, they're going to say that man was an idiot, ignorant, jackass, whatever. He was all of those things put together. It's just baffling, the stuff that people say, you know. like I mean, I just like I recently did something on Herschel Walker because I was like, is this okay? You want a black candidate? Fine, but this is the best that you can do. I mean, the
Yeah.
that's really sad. In my opinion, that's sad that people would just accept this crap, ruin the state of Georgia, so you can defeat the Democrat. You'll just take anything because your hatred of the Democrats are so much. I mean, and I have to
Well,
piggyback.
that's what it is.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
That's what it is. They're so consumed with their mission that, like, I think that's what's happening is like they're just so consumed by numbers and winning and shock value and whatever's, you know, like the more intense it is, the more it sells, you know, and they're not like taking a step back and realizing once again, like, we're talking about people's lives. Like, you know, we're not like forget about your paycheck for a second and like realize what you're doing, like what you're actually doing. You know, it's insane.
Exactly. And to piggyback off of something that you said, you know, it's as if this type of situation has just become the norm. The shooting, the violence, the racism, the ignorance, and people just accept it as such, which is, I think, which is something that is extremely devastating. I actually wrote a song a couple of years ago called Numb, and it talks about this whole thing, how people just, you know, you switch the channel, I turn my back. It's like, oh, this is okay. People just walking around and they're robots, and they're just like, okay. And then you have the other side of people who say, yeah, we really need to do something about this. But the thing is that both sides of the spectrum need to leave their own ideals outside the door and come to the table and just say, we need to do what's best for the American people here.
Right. Exactly.
You know what I mean? It's just, you know, and I know the whole gun thing is about money. You know, even some people that I've spoken to that own guns, and I'm not a person that doesn't think that people shouldn't have the right to bear arms. I think you should, but I think there has to be measures. There's got to be protocols. You should be willing once a month or twice a month to go in somewhere and talk to somebody and see where you are in your life, because you could be the most responsible gun owner and something triggers you. Something happens in your life and you're like, well, I'm just going to shoot everybody up. This can happen.
Right, because we're human. I totally agree with you.
And then the whole Roe versus Wade thing happened. Now, with this whole Roe versus Wade, I'll be honest with you, there's a lot of stuff I learned about what women go through when they're pregnant. You know, the health of the woman and I mean, some women get really, really sick when they're pregnant. I mean, so many things were brought out of it. And it's just the arguments from the other side, but you're murdering, and they're like, well, and I'm like, well, you'd rather have the woman die? I'm not. Yeah. But you're trying to save a life. Oh, but I said, but you all hypocrites. I mean, there's plenty of kids in foster care. What about the parents that have kids and they're abusing them? I mean, what? Yeah. The logic. There is no logic.
Yeah. No. Well, it's just, I mean, it's such false information, too, where they're like, it's like they want to make it out to be like women are just like getting abortions left and right. It's like, it's not that easy of a decision for anyone. Like it's not like you just like, oh, let me go abort a kid today. Like it's not like you're just like, you know, it's so like, that's why I don't understand like how they function in their daily lives with like all these like misinformations about everybody. It's insane. And like, yeah, they're pro-life, but then, you know, like like, you know, like you see these shootings, and they're like saying, you know, like it's okay because the person, you know, like didn't have the lifestyle they agree with. You know, it's just, it's so contradicting. But I don't know. I think again, it's I don't know what's going to happen, but like staying quiet is definitely not an answer. And I think especially if you're a musician, you do have a platform, and like if you're worried about your career versus people's lives, then I feel like you've just lost it.
I agree with you 100%. I mean, it and the whole industry is very different now. The music industry has changed, you know, as artists.
There is no industry.
Well, there is no industry, but there's an industry. Let's just say for people that are trying to get into the industry.
Yeah.
You know, it's all about whether your songs can go viral on these social media platforms.
Exactly. Exactly.
It's not about the music. I mean, it's not about the music, because I've seen, you know, these people that are reality stars, or some of these people that can't even sing, but they're selling millions and millions of things, albums or singles or whatever on platforms. It's more about notoriety and less about what people are trying to say. And as I've gotten deeper into the music industry, I listen to more to the lyrics than anything else, because I want to hear what the artist is trying to convey. Do I feel their soul in that song? And if I don't feel their soul in that song, I'm not into it. It's almost like when we have to vote in the Grammys. I need to see the artist in the music. Did you just rush to put this out? No, then it's not for me.
Yeah, exactly. It's interesting because I've had friends, and I'm not going to mention the artists, but they're pretty popular, and like I've had friends go like, oh, you want to come to this concert or whatever, and I'm just like, it's the same thing. I'm like, well, this person like is not inspiring me. Like, I don't care how famous the song or the person is. Like, if it doesn't move me, like, I'm not leaving my house, you know, like if it's not like, you know, and I'm not saying that I'm God's gift to songwriting, but it's like, it's kind of like, I look at music very different, and that's okay. There's music for all kinds of people, but personally, like, if you don't have a story, if you just went viral because you got a laptop and you learned to use some loops on GarageBand and you blew up on TikTok, like, I'm like, okay, like, I'm not, I couldn't care less. Like, I'm not impressed, you know, like, it's just, you know, and that's what I'm saying. I feel like the industry, like, it's good and bad, because like the industry's kind of going away, which means we have more power. Like, you know, if you work hard and, you know, like, you can generate some kind of budget, you can utilize like ads or like, you know, Google ads or advertise, you know, and find a niche market and everything. So that's a good thing. And then the cons is it's so saturated that, you know, like it's you got to be very lucky with what you're doing and how you're like promoting stuff. But the good thing is it's like, you know, like, there's no longer this dude saying yes or no, and if they say no, you don't have a career, you know, like, you can, today's market is, or like today's music, I don't want to call it industry anymore, like, it's just, you know, it's just different, and there's pros and cons, but I would much rather be doing music today though than, let's say, 50 years ago, because then if you know, like, independent artists would not really have space. So that's a great thing. I mean, I don't know if you ever did this, but I remember when I started this band and we had to order CDs, you know, to like get things out on CD. Girl, that was so expensive. Like, dude, I was like, man, we got to order this many, we got to sell this many. And that's the good thing now. Like, I mean, again, there's pros and cons with Spotify, right? Because we barely make anything, but we don't have to order CDs if we don't want to.
That's right.
And, you know, so you know, there's, everything has a pro and con, but I would much rather be doing music today than before this, so and you can find your people, like, because your people would be the people that want to listen to you, and you wouldn't really compete with that one TikToker, it's just a matter of finding the recipe, right? Like the right recipe of how to get your music out there.
Yeah, and I was talking to somebody else about this, and I said, the whole NFT thing, I like the whole idea of the NFT thing, and I'll tell you why.
Yeah.
It's because I want to get music to a place where people can truly see it as an art form. Like when somebody goes to an art gallery, they can look at some paintings, sketches, whatever they're looking at, and they can see the artwork. They can, they don't criticize artwork as much as they do music. My gosh, in music, if it's a certain genre, it needs to be like this. What I think people have forgotten is that music evolves over time. Yeah, and I would prefer
exactly.
There's too much, I believe, in my opinion, criticism in the music world, rather than saying, okay, well, this is different. It's not for me, but here's a new, different type of art form. Let me appreciate it for what it is, rather than constantly criticizing an artist and saying, well, you don't sound that great, and this is and that, and it has to be like this. Why can't we see something as an art form? You have to do a specific genre. Oh, you can't do this. Oh, you can't do that. There's so many things that I think in the United States it's a lot like this. Now in Europe, I know American artists that have gone over to Europe have had immense success. And then when they come here, nobody knows who they are, but that's okay. It's just more critical here than it is over in Europe. What is your take on that?
Well, so I think, I live in LA, and I think like the critics most often are actual musicians, but like most people that don't do music, they listen to music differently. That's why, like, for example, when we have some of our songs almost done, like I will have my fiance listen to it, and she will be like, oh, yes or no, basically. And I trust her ear more than I trust a musician, because a musician is going to pick it apart, but like she will either feel it or not, so I think I don't know if you've ever used Submit Hub to like get your music. Yeah. And you get these comments. The first time I ever used it, I was like, oh my gosh, like this is brutal. And then I realized it's all musicians. Like they're going to listen to it with a critical ear, and then other friends could literally hear your demos and be like, whoa, this is so good. What is that? You know what I mean? So I think like I've learned to like not take musicians' opinions too much to heart, because guess what? I know what I'm doing and I know what I'm happy with. So like I don't need another guitar player's opinion, because guess what? I'm proud of my guitar player and what he does. And we're happy as a collective. So that's that. I think with the critics, I think it's when it gets in the hand of people of that do music, they listen to it differently. But yeah, Europeans, I think it's culturally it's different too. Like I'm from Sweden. It's very laid back. It's like we're not like, one thing I do love about America is it's very goal driven, and I'm not saying that Europeans aren't, but there's this American dream, and like becoming the best you could be, or like becoming the 1%er, and like that pressure doesn't exist in Europe. Europeans are way more laid back, and I think maybe they're able to look at things a little bit differently, because it doesn't constantly require to see if something can go to the top, or if this is going to be the best of the best, because it's like, it's very laid back and different cultures, and so I think, you might be right there. Like, I think a lot of artists that go over there, they find different people welcome them differently, right? And then then there's the other factor too. For example, I do better in America, and I'm not from here, right? So sometimes people like what's foreign, right? Like, so if American goes over to France, like they might be like, oh, I think that's so, like authentic and special, like because you're not French, So I think like that also has something to do with it. Like you're always curious about the unknown and uniqueness. So if you're an American and you stay in America, you might be similar to someone else, but when you go to Europe, you're unique. And then it's the same. If I stay in Sweden, I'm like any other Swedish artist, but when I'm in America, I'm unique,
Yeah. Now, what is this? Do you have a theme for your upcoming EP?
Right. So we actually just finished our backing vocals yesterday. We have about 6 to 7 songs. One of them is a cover. We have never, ever recorded a cover before. So we're covering Lady Gaga, Bad Romance. And then the songs are, similar sounding to Burn This Motha because, that's the band. But some of them are a little bit more on the pop side, and some of them go even harder and darker than Burn This Motha. So I call it's like a buffet, like the EP has, different topics, different, like we have our song One Day, and it's about, like just like hanging in there, because at any given time and moment your life could change for something positive, and it just speaks on like different situations in life and how to just like move on from it and always stay true to yourself. And then our other song, Overthinking, is about I'm an overthinker, and the lyrics go sorry?
I said overthinking. A lot of people do that.
Yeah. So, but one of the lyrics that are saying, and this actually, I started writing this song years ago in my head when I was at a party, and I was drunk and I was still overthinking. So like, that's what the song is about, like how like, it can be hard to let go, like, and nothing, nothing can change that. So like, maybe alcohol is not going to solve your, issues, so it's like, about that. Then we have a song called Beautiful, which is basically about, depression and telling people that they are good the way they are, and trying, like, the song is basically speaking to anyone that's depressed or thinking to harm themselves. So it's basically about, like that there's something beautiful in each and every one of us, and, it's life can be beautiful, and, it's like taking another step towards the darkness is not the answer, because again, like life can be different. And then we have our song Wanted, which is a breakup song. God, this EP is sad.
It's life.
Like, what?
It's life.
I guess. Yeah. Oh my gosh. I'm glad we threw in Lady Gaga.
Right? Well, there you go. There's the positive side. Okay, well, I'm going to play Burn This Motha.
All right.
Wake up, get up, it's a setup, revolution. Talk to my head, your God loves me more than you can imagine. Mama taught me not to give a shit, people talking. Can you feel the heat? Eyes on
Amen to that, sister. Great song. Very
Thank
powerful.
you so much.
Now, in our world, obviously, we have to be on these social media sites, and I have to ask you, how do you keep up with all that? And I'll tell you why. Because during the pandemic, I took this, CAP University TikTok course, and they were telling you all that. They were like, you need to do 5 videos a day. Who has that kind of time? I tried it, and I was doing it, then I was like, no.
Yeah, same. Honestly, same. Like, I tried it. The whole band tried it, and we just, I know you have to be on TikTok, and the algorithm is pretty good. Sometimes it works well, sometimes it doesn't. But I'm just like, I'm not a trust fund kid. I'm sorry. Like,
Right.
I work as well. Like, I don't have the kind of time, like, to be on there. And I don't think it's going to make or break our careers, to be honest with you. Like,
Right.
I think like, I try to post like once a day, but at the same time, it's like my day starts like this. I wake up, take the dogs out, make breakfast, and then I will literally sit on my laptop, email, blogs, radios. Like, this will go on for like a couple hours. Then I have to teach music. Then we're going to the studio. Then I come back around maybe like 8, 9 p.m. Like, where am I doing my video? Like,
Right.
like, it's like, that's how I'm like, if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. If we have time to do it, we do it. If we don't, we don't. Like, and I think like a lot of these people, they're kids too. They live at home. Like, they don't have the responsibilities. So we can't compare ourselves to it. And, like, I think to me, the most important thing is the quality of the art. And I think when everything aligns, it will all be what it's meant to be. But I am not going to sacrifice, time in the studio to go do a video,
Right.
Like,
Right.
yeah.
Now, I mean, at one point, I tried that algorithm thing, and I was like, screw it. I don't care. I'm just going to post when I post. If people see it, they see it. If they don't, whatever. I mean, because I'm not going to stress myself out for that mess. It's just ridiculous. But what I found was interesting is that, I posted my music stuff, and I have views and blah blah blah, all that good stuff. But it wasn't until I started talking about Roe versus Wade that my TikTok page blew up. That's when it started happening, and I was being informative.
Right.
It's just bizarre. It's bizarre, and I'll post things about my music, and those, I'll get 300 views, 400 views, and then I talk about Roe versus Wade or Herschel Walker or something like that. It'll be like 22,000 people have viewed her thing, and I'm just like, okay, well, if that's what they're at, fine. But it's just another thing that, back in the day, the artist didn't have to deal with. It's almost like the pay-to-play thing. Back in the day, you go into a radio station, you give them your record, and say, can you play it? They might play it. They're not going to go through that hee-haw, well, how much money are you going to give me? It's a lot tougher now. To be seen and heard. It just is. Yeah.
But again, it's a choice, right? Like, what do you want to do with your TikTok? And like, it is messed up because it's like some of my musician friends, they make this joke too. It's like they'll post a meme on Instagram, and the meme will get so many likes and comments, but then they'll post that they just released a song and nobody cares.
It's
so messed up.
It is baffling. I mean, it's messed up. It's also, somebody could do a TikTok for 5 seconds of nothingness, and people just love it, and it goes viral, and you're just like, okay.
Exactly.
And I understand. I mean, with the TikTok Cap University, they did tell you that the videos that are the most authentic are the ones that are doing the best, because people look at that and they said, oh, I can do that too, and then the things go viral. But then you look at some and you're just like, and that has 5 million views because And I'll look and I'll say, am I missing something here? What? But I will tell you, I often call TikTok the devil, because I'll go on it and say, I'm just going to look at a couple of videos. 2 hours later.
Right.
What's going on this? I need to get off of it. It's so sad.
Yeah.
It's so sad.
Funny, actually.
However,
you start with one, and then you, like, I'll tell you this, the other week I was just, like, scrolling my TikTok, and there was this dance that came up, like, from Africa. There were these kids dancing, right? And I was just like, wow, they're so talented. And it's like an hour later, I was just like following all these African dancers and like all these videos. Like I was just like going down this rabbit hole of like looking, like, I mean, they're so talented. First of all, it's insane. But I was just like looking at them and I'm like, wow, like so talented. But yeah, it was like an hour of my life just like looking at these dancers, like, which by the way, like everybody has to, I don't get how they do that barefoot, like so talented, like and the movements and the fast twitch muscles, it's so impressive. They're so talented, and their videos go viral, but that's like well deserved, you know.
And I often look at those, and wonder, you know, are these kids getting paid? Now, the kids seem to be, you know, poor. They're barefoot. They're doing all this stuff. And I'm always like, are these kids getting paid? I hope they are.
I think so. I think like after a certain number on TikTok, like you do get paid. I think so.
Because let me tell you, if they're not, they should be. Dancing on dirt, and gyrating, whatever. It's just like, okay, it's just like, okay, well, I'm glad they're getting famous, and hopefully they're being taken well care of, because that would be sad if they weren't. And then that's it. But thank you so much, Ina, for being chatting with Nat. It's always a pleasure to have you. I love your music. I love what you sing about. I love your authenticity, and I love watching all your successes. I mean, your tour
same. Yeah, same. And thank you so much for having me.
All right, everybody. This was Ina from the band KingQueen. If you want to know more about her, you can go to kingqueenmusic.com and get all of the information there. Or you can just Google KingQueen if you can't remember that. You should be able to remember that. I know we're on all things. She's on Instagram, TikTok. She's on Twitter. She's on Facebook. She's everywhere. Why not stream her music? Better yet, why not buy it? Yeah, you know that old-fashioned thing about buying music? We all have to eat. So until next time on Chatting with Nat. Thank you, Ina. Chatting with Nat is a podcast for independent women seeking to speak their truth and to break down barriers. We host honest conversations that help to guide and empower women. Speak your truth and set yourself free. Let your voice be heard.
If you're a Kia K5 GT and Kia Forte GT owner, this is your reminder to breathe. See that sophisticated interior? Enjoy those sensations. And now, imagine how you look from the outside and that speed that only a Kia GT sedan can give you. Sorry, I can't help but get excited.
For those lives full of thrilling emotions, the all-powerful, all-fun Kia GT sedan. Kia, movement that inspires. Limited inventory available. Call 800-333-4KIA for details. Always drive safely.
Lucky Land Casino, asking people, what's the weirdest place you've gotten lucky?
Lucky? In line at the deli, I guess?
Aha, in my dentist's office.
More than once, actually.
Do I have to say?
Yes, you do.
In the car before my kids' PTA meeting.
Really?
Yes.
Excuse me, what's the weirdest place you've gotten lucky?
I never win and tell.
Well, there you have it. You can get lucky anywhere, playing at LuckyLandSlots.com. Play for free right now. Are you feeling lucky? No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.